Thank you. The gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Foster, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And let's see, along the same vein, I think it's, if you look at Figure 1 in the report that you gave us, you look at the rate of job creation, and I think it's remarkable how constant it has been with no visible change as a result of any of the policies of the last 2 years. And I think that's the relevant observation there. Now, this Saturday, March 2nd, the currently suspended debt limit, ceiling on the debt limit is going to come back into effect unless we pass legislation or do something about it. Now, that's, we have some runway on various extraordinary measures that can be done by the Treasury and others. Do you have a feeling, first off, on how much runway we have before Congress has to deal with the debt limit? And can you say a little bit about what the implications of defaulting on that would be?
I think that there's real uncertainty about when the actual date that the government will run out of cash and not be able to pay all bills when they are due will come, but it will be later this year. It could be late in the summer. It could be in the fall. I think it remains to be seen at this point. And I think the main thing is we've never failed to pay all of our bills when and as due, and I think that can never happen. That's not something we can allow to happen. I think our credit rating and our credit as a country is such an important asset that we need to stop short of letting that happen. I think it could have very hard to predict, but possibly quite bad consequences if we were to default on our payments.
Now, in the past, when we've come close to defaulting, sort of walked up to the cliff on that, what have been the effects to markets, credit ratings, the whole, what were the implications for the general economy? Any way to quantify that?
Very, very hard to quantify it. I know in 2011 that we were downgraded as a consequence of this, and I know that there were financing costs went up for a period right at the height of the crisis, and there was that significant cost imposed on the taxpayer for that.
Mm-hmm. Now, a few days ago, the president proudly announced that he'd reached a currency manipulation deal with China, which I understand you indicated you consult with the administration on this. Have you been told what that deal is? Has the Federal Reserve been informed?
I think our staff is basically, our point is we don't handle currency. That's really the Treasury's job. The thing that is our concern is that we be allowed to conduct monetary policy with a free hand.
But have you been informed of what that deal is?
At the staff level, I think people are in contact and made sure that limited interest has been addressed.
Was that a yes or no, or?
Yes.
So you have been informed. So people in the Fed know what that deal is, although I understand you may not.
As it relates to our interest, I believe so, yes.
Okay. Are there other tail risks that you think we should be worrying about, things like hard Brexit? What are your top few sources of tail risk that you think we should be thinking about in Congress?
Yeah, I think the outlook for the U.S. economy is a positive one, and I think that I would start with slowing global growth. We've seen global growth, particularly in China and Europe, through the course of 2018 and right into 2019. Growth in 2017 was a real tailwind for the United States economy. It was synchronized global growth around the world. As the global economy slows outside the United States, it becomes a headwind, so we're feeling that. Brexit is just an event, and it may pass without much implications for the United States, but it's unprecedented, and so it's hard to say exactly what the implications. Of course, we're monitoring it very carefully.
Now, late last year, the comment period closed on considerations that you had for developing a real-time interbank settlement system. And can you say a little bit about, just give us an update on what your current thoughts on that, the schedule we might be looking at?
Yes, so we put this proposal out for comment. We've gotten a lot of comments. We're reviewing them. And the idea is that central banks can really provide immediate final settlement in real-time payments, and really
and some do internationally.
Many do internationally, and the question is, should we take this on? And I think it's a question we have to evaluate under our existing statute, and we'll take our time in doing that. We have to conclude that it's economically viable, that we can charge for it, in other words, and also that it's something that the private sector can't adequately handle. And, so we're going to look at that. We think it could support real-time payments, which we think would be a positive thing. On the other hand, it has to work under our statute.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yield back.
Gentleman from Ohio, Mr.